You almost got my intro twice. It's Wednesday. You all know what that means. It's episode 90 of Life in the Movies, and it is the January 2024 preview. I'm Ryan Cam. That's Jacob Martin. We've been doing this for 2 years, Jacob. Can you believe it?
I'm honestly in utter shock that we've done this for 2 years because it sure don't feel like it's been 2 years.
Yeah, it's been two pretty quiet years. I mean, I've only lost about 70 pounds. You've gone to preacher school or going to preacher school,
Yeah.
excuse me. So, that's just a walk in the park for the two of us, huh?
Yeah, you work at the library now, and you've run some marathons and other things. So
Yeah, I got the first full marathon coming up in literally almost a month, which is just crazy to think about, but here we are. But thank you all so much for tuning in. This is Life in the Movies episode number 90. This is the January 2024 preview. Jacob and I are going to be talking about some movies coming out in January of 2024, and whoo boy, it's going to be a dry season, at least for January. Like, it's the pickings are slim, if you will. But we'll be discussing some of the highlights, and we'll be discussing the Punisher episode too. But before we dive into that, Jacob, how was your Christmas and your New Year's? Did it go well?
Yeah, both holidays went over very well. Had a lot of great eating the past couple weeks.
I can imagine.
Really good food. Like I said, Christmas was very light compared to other years. There was a little bit of sickness that went around, but everyone's doing good now, and we still had a good Christmas regardless. And then we got, the New Year's was a lot of fun. We had a great celebration. We all stayed up till midnight, watched the ball drop, what we usually do, and it was another good time.
Yeah, I stayed up till midnight watching Ghidra the Three-Headed Monster, but more that review will be coming up next week. Jeremiah's in the chat. Hello, Jeremiah. Hi, Ryan. Have you heard of the Whatever podcast? Watch it if you ever want to be in a foul mood. It generally, I want to say, it's OnlyFans women debating Christians.
Oh, that's what OF means. Okay, I was trying to figure that out.
Let's just assume that's what it means. The Christians are often very condescending to the OnlyFans women, and the conservative audience pretend the OnlyFans women are idiots when they're actually winning the debate. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Anyways, hi, good to see you. I saw The Boy and the Heron with my siblings yesterday, and it was lovely. Yeah, I'm kind of kicking myself I did not see that in theaters. It was kind of in a slew of just busyness for me, so it slipped me by. But when it comes on physical media and it comes to my library, I'm definitely going to check it out because I've seen every Ghibli film, even Earwig and the Witch, which was awful, so bad that Hayao Miyazaki unretired again because technically his retirement was supposed to be The Wind Rises, and then his son screwed up again. So I was like, let me show you how it's done. And so we have The Boy and the Heron. But Jeremiah, good to see you as always. But Jacob, I'm glad that your holidays went well. My holidays went great. I won my local 5K on Christmas Eve. I shattered my 5K record again, not to brag too loudly about it, but just the slow climb to the marathon is almost over. I'm within a month of the marathon. I've got my Airbnb with my friends almost pretty much confirmed. So we're all going to be staying together. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be my first big trip, I think, since I went out to Utah, which is the shirt that I'm wearing right now. So it's going to be a fun time.
Well, that's good. That sounds awesome. I'm happy for you. One important question to ask you. Is your mind back in one piece after the last hot take video we like to do?
It's funny that Jeremiah is watching it in the chat because he was taunting me and just having fun at my expense because of the crap that I had to slog through in the month of December. I was not prepared, to be completely honest, because
me neither.
In preparing series like that, I mostly just pick at random, being like, oh, that looks interesting, that looks kind of nice, and then I just am I'm out of my depth.
Yeah.
like literally like the stretch of where I had to watch like Mixed Nuts, Munster's Scary Little Christmas, and like Surviving Christmas all in like 1 week. I was just like, I'm like losing faith in my love of movies here. But but it was an interesting time. It was never boring. That was for certain. But like I said at the end of that series, Chris Mania is going on a brief hiatus for this year because I want to bring it back, but I don't want to burn myself out on all the Christmas movies, and then I'm just like covering all Hallmark movies, which there's nothing wrong with that. And I imagine if I'm going to continue Chris Mania, then I'm going to have to do an all Hallmark series or most Hallmark series because I mean, Hallmark literally is a cottage industry on
Yeah,
Christmas or
yeah.
Christmas movies. I
They
mean,
got
Rachel, our mutual friend Rachel Wagner, her literal job is to cover Hallmark movies for a living. That's how big it is. So that's definitely going to be, but I'm just going to be kicking that can down the road for the time being.
yeah. Let's have to see how that goes because I don't. I've not had the best track record with Hallmark movies. I'm not that crazy about them personally, but
I have seen, and Rachel's had a hand in curating, but I have seen some of the better ones, and they're honestly like they're very enjoyable. I don't really understand a lot of the hate for them. I can understand, but I also don't. But like I said, I'm gonna kick that can down the road a little more. But if you are watching live, drop a question or a comment in the live chat. We'll be talking, like I said, January movies, The Punisher, which we're gonna jump into in just a minute. So yeah, feel free to chime in. But Jacob, let's dive in to some Punisher talk, which we haven't done for quite a while. Let's talk about The Punisher, Season 1, Episode 2, called Two Dead Men. A mysterious phone call forces Frank's hand. Meanwhile, Madani goes digging for suspects, and Curtis delivers a message. So, this episode has a lot of things, but a lot of it involves looking at screens, like looking at a lot of computer screens and security camera footage. Like you would think that this show came out in 2017, but you would think it'd come out like this year with the amount of screens that people are looking at. But I've seen the episode before, but I rewatched it again just to get it fresh in my head. What did you think of the episode?
yeah, I thought it was all right. Like I wasn't like particularly wowed by it or anything, but I thought it kept its momentum after the first episode, which was intriguing. Some really brutal violence in there when the Punisher tortures that one guy for information. Uh, Try to figure out where things are heading. I did wince a couple of times because it was brutal to watch. Definitely earning that TVMA rating, which is pretty cool and all. I think it's starting to get a little convoluted for my liking. I think that's like my one gripe with the episode. I like the fact that it's building a mystery to what's going on, but at the same time, it's like building too many characters tied to Frank's past that we don't really know much about. You have this one weirdo dude who faked his death and he's like spying on his family with cameras. Like, okay, I don't know where this is going.
Yeah, that was wild. That was so wild. It reminded me, Jacob. I don't know if you're familiar with the channel Linkara. Like he reviews comic books. Like
Yeah,
he is always flummoxed when he reviews a Punisher comic because he reviews like Punisher goes to hell and like fights with Santa Claus and is like it's such a simple concept. The Punisher is a dude whose family was killed in front of him and he goes on revenge. He basically is like John Wick with a skull shirt, for
yeah,
lack of a better word, and no dog that we are aware of. But they just twisted into these weird things. And like in this show, we got a dude faking his own death and watching his family through like CCTV. I'm just like, uh, huh? Like what are we doing here, guys?
yeah, yeah. Also, the subplot with the female agent. I'm not sure where that's going. I think they're trying to connect together because like the one dude she's working for, the Punisher ends up killing because it's tied to his past. I get that, but before I'm like, okay, I'm not feeling anything with these characters. I'm like, why is she here? It's cool that we got Karen Page back. That's cool.
Yeah,
Seeing
I
that
was going to
connection.
say when I saw Deborah Ann Wool back on my screen, I'm like, yes, she has returned. Because even in like, and Daredevil is like season 1 and 2; those are the best of like the Marvel Netflix ones. Season 1 especially, it's the like the high watermark of the Marvel Netflix, now Marvel Disney Plus shows. Like that's the high watermark, and Deborah Ann Wool was one of the best parts of that entire show. So whenever I see her, it's like a, yep, it's good with me, and she gets some pretty good scenes.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Karen's one of the best characters in the Marvel Netflix or Marvel Disney Plus, taken from Netflix verse, whatever you want to call it now. So,
Yeah,
and of all the characters from that show to bring into Punisher, Karen Page was probably the best one because she had the most connection with Frank during Daredevil season 2. So it made a lot more sense for her to be caught up into the stuff Frank Castle's getting into. John Bernthal is once again doing a fantastic job. The fact that he's still reeling in from like PTSD while still trying to figure all this stuff out. I like the scene where he's talking to the wife of the guy who faked his death, and are both sharing their own like traumatic experiences. The woman's talking about how well she believes her husband is dead, and he's talking about how he lost his family, and I was like, "Well, do you think you can move on from that, but just something comes back and it's triggering again?" I'm like, "That's some
yeah.
really powerful acting."
Yeah, I really do appreciate that like this show is trying to like go for deeper things. Like we've got a long road to hoe with this show, so it's gonna be seen if like those are realized, but I appreciate the effort so far. But we got Epictastic Joshua in the house. Stop by to say hi. Hello, Joshua. Good to see you.
Josh, how you doing?
And Jeremiah's got a long chain here. Susan Slept Here, or whatever it was called. God, would test anyone's love of movies. Oh God, yeah, Jake. That movie was just it. Like it. I needed to like take a walk. Like that movie was just it. I'm surprised it even got made back when it got made. As I said, what a creep of a movie. Christmania was the most cursed Christmas series of anything ever.
Man,
That
you
is
had
for
some wild stuff this past year.
The thing
Like,
is that when I picked Munster's Scary Little Christmas, I saw a review of it from a channel that I watch called Hats Off Entertainment, and I thought I was prepared. I wasn't prepared. Speaking of
oh,
awfulness, it was funny to see Media Memento in the comments of Jacob's video. Jacob, what do you know about
oh,
this? This is the first time hearing of this.
oh, oh, oh.
I thought you were recording something.
I'm sorry, my sister interrupted me. I'm on.
Surprise!
Sorry.
Okay.
Surprise run-in from Jacob's sister. Hello.
Okay. No, it's all good. Oh man, let me fix this real quick. So Henry Mockingbird's trying to call me right now. I don't know why. I think we're supposed. Okay, give me a second real quick, and I'll respond. Man, he's been blowing me up.
Well, Jacob's taking care of this. Just a heads up that this coming Saturday, Road to Godzilla X Kong continues with my thoughts on Mothra versus Godzilla. So stay tuned for that. And then small talk as always every Tuesday. And speaking of small talk,
Okay.
Jake Collins is here. 3D Jake is in the house. Stopped by to say hi to one of my buddies and Ryan. Jacob, keep up the good work, and Ryan, whatever. Yeah, I'll see you Thursday.
Go back to that. Go back to that last comment. I wanted to talk about that on Media Memento.
It was funny to see. Yeah,
Yes,
like
he commented on my video, and it was kind of weird. Going to the next comment, Jeremiah says it better. He's like, he didn't throw a fit or anything, but he seemed peeved that I didn't ask permission to react to the video. That was so weird. He was like you should have asked my permission first. I'm like, I didn't respond to the guy, but I was like, okay. That's odd. That's an odd thing. If somebody reacted to one of my videos, I wouldn't be peeved by it. I would say, Okay, that's extra publicity.
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, it's like fair use and all that, dude. Like, come on.
yeah. Now,
We got Aaron White here.
now,
Hello, Aaron.
I
How
will
are you?
say Henry Mockingbird did do some more commenting on the guy. And I think he now
Of
seems
course.
to be more of a fair sport about it. But the first comment, I was like, okay, what was a weird comment. I think he got a little peeved that like we're big Willy Wonka fans and he was crapping on that film and I didn't like his overall attitude toward the whole thing.
Like, to be very fair, like I was trying to like see where he was coming from because I believe that all arguments for or against movies do have nuance, and I feel like just with his takes, it was like it was just weird. I respect his liking of Charlie over Willie. Like I totally understand that and I get it, but it's like you're calling like Willy Wonka like a corporate tie-in. Like because
Which
it was like funded by Quaker Oats. It was like it's just one of those things where you just go like, yo, what? Like what are we doing here,
yeah.
people?
Yeah,
Uh,
like I didn't have a problem with his defense on Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Now that was cool and all. Like I
yeah,
admired his defense on that movie. But at the expense of bringing the other movie down and insulting those who love the other movie, that's what I took issue with. And then the fact that he like rambled on about the same points every 10 minutes and made an hour long video when he could have trimmed it down to like 10,
it
15
was
minutes.
57 human minutes. But hello, Henry
Hey,
Mockingbird.
Henry.
But yeah, it was that was odd. But like, well, I'm sorry that that happened. But I mean, like do we have to ask like Henry like do we have to ask confused Matthew to react to his? I think I might know what the answer to that is. Ryan was telling me his favorite movie coming out soon is between Mean Girls the musical and Night Swim. He said this Mean Girls is better than the OG one. Also, Tim Burton did a lot better than the OG. Well, we'll talk about those movies in a minute. Side note, I like the glasses, Ryan. Hello, Henry. Thank you for subscribing to me, though I have no idea when/if I will ever start uploading. Like, well, Jeremiah, you should start if you're passionate about it. You should go ahead and do it. I'd love to start an opinion podcast with guests. We'll see. Well, you should do
Yeah,
it. Like,
good
you're
for you.
always so active in the chats, and I'd say go for it. Like,
Yeah,
you have
Jeremiah, if you want to start a podcast, you feel free to have us join you for your first
yeah.
episode. So
I'll join. Like you just DM me and we'll figure something out. But yeah, just do it. Like show off your artwork. Like just jump in with both feet. Like go ahead. But where was I at? Oh yeah, and also Jeremiah, thank you for the glasses by the way. These are new edition. But let's tying things off on the Punisher really quick. I think this was an enjoyable episode. I feel like there was a lot of things, intriguing things. I think it was a bit of a dip from the first episode, but after that awesome like fight at the end, there was nowhere left to go but down. So it felt like a little unfair, I guess. But I thought the episode was fun.
yeah, same here. It wasn't anything great, but I'm still intrigued by where it's going to go, and John Bernthal is still killing it.
All right, well, what did you all think of the Punisher episode 2? Let us know in the comments. Love to read what you have to say. And well, Jacob, let's dive into some January 2024 movies. And yeah, like I said at the start of the stream, this is going to be a rough month. But let's get the silliest one potentially out of the way first. Night Swim. A woman swimming in her pool at night is terrorized by an evil spirit. Blumhouse produced a movie about a possessed swimming pool, y'all, or well, at least a killer swimming pool. Like you would expect this to be on Tubi or something, but it turns out no. This is from Blumhouse. James Wan produced this. So yeah, Jacob, I toss it to you. What did you think?
Yeah, this does not look good. James Wan is a great producer, great director, but I'm
Mhm.
not sure he can salvage this one. I liked, I like some of his previous films, but I don't know. Nothing in this trailer seemed very suspenseful. I feel like the trailer kind of gave away like the general mystery surrounding the whole film too about who is controlling this swimming pool. I'm like, I don't know why you're doing this. I mean, you should do the Jaws effect and kind of build it up a little bit, but it just looks like a very tensionless horror movie. It's also PG-13. Those horror movies tend to suck for the most part, so this does not look good.
Yeah, the movie feels like that myth of like you look down in like your pool drain and there are sharks in the drain. That's like a bigger budget version of that. I'm, I'm just sitting there like Blumhouse has made
I'm also
quality in the past.
confused. I'm sorry. I'm also confused that how do these how does this monster get in the pool drain or whatever? Suck out a life victim. Like I was watching this, I'm like so
That's
confused.
that's what you get when you don't have a proper pool filter. You catch up on that every month. But it's just Blumhouse is not a inherently bad studio. They've produced a lot of quality in their lifetime. Like the first few Paranormal Activity movies, Megan. I really enjoyed Megan, which was ironically in the first weekend of January, the last year. So, and there's a lot of others in between. They've also produced some non-horror things that I've enjoyed. So this is like an odd choice. On 1 to 5, what would you give this?
Uh, Probably a two.
Yeah, I'll give it a 1.5. Ryan said he would street fight any girl who at Bass Pro Shops. He says many deaths. Willie film sucks. Also, only place to find Tim Burton's film is at Bass Pro Shop.
You don't get the joke, right?
No, I clearly don't.
Well,
What is Aaron White
I did a
doing at a
live
Bass
stream
Pro Shop?
I did a live stream last night, uh, where I was ranking my top 5 albums and top 5 songs from Garth Brooks. And
Okay.
Garth Brooks, I talked about how these days he's kind of out of touch with consumers because he released his newest album and you can only buy it physically at Bass Pro Shops.
Um, okay. I mean, he's
Like
at
who
least.
goes to Bass Pro Shop? That's like a niche
I
market.
mean, I live about 20 minutes away from Daytona Beach, Florida, and there's a massive Bass Pro Shops next to the International Speedway. So, and it's pretty busy. So, let's not say that like Bass Pro Shops is like a dead brand or anything. Like it's a massive
Well,
store.
there's not much Bass Pro Shops in Virginia. I think
Okay, fair
the
enough. Fair
nearest one from where I am is like it's near Richmond, so that's about 3 hours away from here.
I Henry Mockingbird. I give Medium Mementos this. At least he was a good sport about, even though we were crapping on his video. He at least he did take offense to it. This was Harry Thomas' review. It would be a different story. Harry Thomas would say that it was unnecessary. Jeremiah, thanks guys. That means a lot. I'd love to have you as guests, by the way, someday. So who knows? Yeah, absolutely. Oh God, Night Swim lured me in with the trailer with pretty people, and then of course horror movie, bad horror movie too. Yes, I agree. Garth Brooks and I are at Bass Pro Shop.
Yeah, Aaron
According,
talked about last night. He still goes to Bass Pro Shops to see Santa with his kids.
oh, good for him.
Yep.
Well, yeah, you said it too. I'm gonna go with a 1.5. Like for the James Wan factor alone, but someone needs to get him in front of like working on Saw movies again because Saw 10 were pretty good and Saw 11 might just be as good. So like we need James Wan and Lee Winnell to get back in the saddle together again. But let's move on now. To the Book of Clarence. Oh boy, I have been itching to ask your opinion on this one, Jacob, because you are uniquely qualified to talk about a movie like this. Struggling to find a better life, Clarence is captivated by the power of the rising Messiah and soon risks everything to carve a path to a divine existence. So, this movie stars, among other people, Benedict Cumberbatch, James McAvoy, Alfred Woodard, David Oyelowo, and chief among them, the star of the movie, Lakeith Stanfield, the same Lakeith Stanfield who was in Judas and the Black Messiah, one of the best movies of 2021. Jacob, the floor is yours. Go.
Okay. First off, this trailer confused me more than anything else. I have no idea who this movie is being marketed towards. It's obviously not appealing to the religious crowd because the plot of the movie involves this random guy named Clarence who's using Jesus as a means to scam other people. Which, like, what? I don't know how you're using Jesus to do something like that. It doesn't make sense. So right now we're treading on thin ice with the religious crowd. They're going to see this as an offensive movie, but it might also be a satire at the same time. But as a satire, just from watching the clips in the trailer, that's not really working well either. Like, I did not find one instance in the trailer that made me laugh when they were trying to do something with this. I was just kind of rolling my eyes. I'm like, really? What is this movie? And the sad thing is, you got a talented group of actors in this movie, like you mentioned, Lakeith Stanfield, James McAvoy, Benedict Cumberbatch. Those are all talented actors. But why would they sign on for a project like this when it's going to generate negative buzz? It's going to generate probably some debated controversy between different sides of the spectrum. And it
Oh,
sounds
joy.
like what's the point of this movie? I just don't get it. I'm more confused than I am offended.
Yeah, I was just as confused as you. I was thinking to myself, like, if you're going to like make fun of like the mega church people, I mean, The Righteous Gemstones is already doing it on HBO, and it's 1,000 times funnier than anything that the Book of Clarence is probably going to do. I feel like this is more like a remake of The Life of Brian. Like, Jacob, have you ever seen Life of Brian?
I've not seen Life of Brian, but I've heard of it. That's the Monty Python movie.
Yeah, like it seems like a different interpretation of that. Last one from me, but fun fact: if you go to Bass Pro Shops and say Garth Brooks 3 times, he will appear and try to sell you his album. Aaron White would take care, guys, off to Bass Pro again with the Bass Pro.
He said last night he was going to go to Bass Pro Shops to see the Easter Bunny.
Oh God! But back to Book of Clarence. This is just. I feel like there's like a good story here, but it's like, and I'm not like totally against religious satire per se, but I'm just like sitting there like this movie needs to pick a lane. Like it needs to pick a lane and just like stay in it. It's like trying to be satire, but then also serious and also like just I don't know. I was just as confused as you, and I've seen the trailer probably a few more times than you have, Jacob. I saw it attached to Saltburn and also for Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. So I've seen it a few times, and every time I'm just like, why? Like, like it just like puzzles me. At like 1 to 5, what would you give it?
Probably 1.5.
I'll meet you there. I'll go 1.5 as well. But from one from one movie that was not so great to a remake, Mean Girls the Musical. Katie Heron is a hit with the Plastics, an A-list girl clique at her new high school, when she makes the mistake of falling for Aaron Samuels, the ex-boyfriend of Alpha Plastic Regina George. So I have a confession to make. I have not seen the original Mean Girls. I know that's on me. I will watch it in preparation for this. But from what I have seen, like it looks like I can understand why it would be iconic. But I don't know. I don't know whether it's just like the weird marketing or like the lack thereof, but I have like no excitement for this whatsoever. Jacob, what do you think?
Um, so I do have a confession to make. Not only have I seen Mean Girls, I know I'm not the target audience for the original movie, but I really enjoyed the heck out of that movie. I think it's a very funny comedy with a great cast. I was laughing from start to finish, and I thought it was one of the funnier comedies that's been out in the last couple decades. It's a really fun movie. This movie, on the other hand, has not had good marketing. The trailers have been very lackluster. Come to find out, this is actually an adaptation of like the stage musical, and yet they've not marketed it as a musical. It's marketed as an unnecessary remake to a movie that came out about 20 years ago. And I
Yeah,
feel like that's a big mistake.
Mean Girls will be 20 years old this year.
Wow, that's crazy. But yeah, this movie, I think it's failing on the marketing department. I don't know anything about Mean Girls the musical. I don't know if the musical wise the songs are any good or not. But just with them remaking it, I'm like, nah, it just feels like it feels like another one of them stale cash grabs, kind of like the live action Disney remakes. I don't know if like adding musical numbers to a new version is gonna like top what they did before with the original cast, which is such a good original cast. When you had people like Lindsay Lohan and Tina Fey, Rachel McAdams, and
Amanda
yeah,
Seyfried.
Amanda Seyfried, among others, they were a talented cast. So yeah, I think it's gonna be an absolute dud.
Yeah, I was going to say like it almost feels like they want the movie to fail, which is a shame because I love me a good musical. Like I have been open and honest with that.
Yeah,
But like if your movie's a musical, say it's a musical. Like musicals like just like market your music. Like In the Heights, like I'll use a fairly recent example. In the Heights, the 2021 movie. That is very blatantly a musical and they make no bones about it. In the Heights is actually pretty good and I'm surprised more people weren't talking about it. Jeremiah is back. I enjoyed Life of Brian. I watched it with my siblings, and we didn't love it as much as The Holy Grail, but we laughed and it was fun. Yeah, The Holy Grail is just mint. Like,
yeah,
it's one
Holy
of the
Grail
best
is
comedies
excellent.
ever made.
Yeah. The only
Uh,
thing I know about Life of Brian is it had that song, Always Look on the Bright
right
Side of
side of
Life.
life.
I know that
Yeah,
song.
that's a funny scene. My sister loves Mean Girls. I keep meaning to watch it because we have virtually identical taste. Aaron White, Fathom Events has Mean Girls slated for October to see it back on the big screen for its 20th anniversary. Last one from me, I really promise. Confession, not trolling, but I love OG Mean Girls. So funny. This looks like something you would see in the dollar bin at Bass Pro Shop.
The Dollar Bin at Bass Pro Shop. Garth Brooks approved.
Yeah, well, yeah, I love musicals, and this is just doing nothing for me. 1 to 5, Jacob. What do you have?
One.
1?
Yeah.
Yeah, sadly, I'm gonna meet you there. If now moving on to one that out of all these movies I do have the most excitement for, if for nothing else, just based on like pure lizard brained entertainment value, The Beekeeper. In The Beekeeper, one man's brutal campaign for vengeance takes on national stakes after he is revealed to be a former operative of a powerful and clandestine organization known as Beekeepers. So if this movie has any hope at all, it's the fact that David Ayer is directing this. He directed End of Watch, a movie that I really love. He directed Suicide Squad, but yeah, there's no defending that. That movie was awful. Like just music video, the movie right there. But David Ayer has done good things in the past. I love me a good Jason Statham movie. I'll be the first to admit he's not a tremendous actor, but he knows his lane and he stays in his lane. I fear the movie might go a little too big for its britches with the whole like taking on corruption and all of that. But if it's just Jason Statham like shooting people, then I'm for it. Jacob, what do you think?
I wish I was on the same level as you. I superficially, this movie does look like it's going to be a lot of fun with Jason Statham taking out bad guys. Some of the kills looks like it's going to be fun to watch. But I've not seen any good David Ayer movies as of late. I've only seen Suicide Squad, which was terrible. I don't think that movie was all his fault though, but it was still a bad movie that he was involved in. The one David Ayer film I've seen, which had he had full control on, he directed a movie during the pandemic called what was it called? The Tax Collector. That's what
Yeah.
it's called. It had Shia LaBeouf in it, who they marketed as like the lead star, but he was only in the movie for like probably 15 minutes. They talked about
Wow.
how he tattooed his entire backside for his role, but it's only shown during like this grainy video montage of a torture scene. So it was almost false advertising. And the movie was absolute atrocious from beginning to end. Like there was no Shia LaBeouf was solid in that film, but everyone else, the acting was poor, the dialogue was atrocious. It was all around a bad movie. Put me to sleep in the theater. So I've not seen a good David Ayer movie. I can't vouch for that in The Watch or some of the other movies. I'm sure they're good movies. I don't know, but this I've not been wowed on David Ayer yet. This movie might be good. I don't know, but that name's kind of been a negative stain on my end, and I don't think that's going to help much. But it could be a fun movie. Who knows?
Well, Jacob, I recommend you watch End of Watch. Like, it is quite good. Like, you should definitely at least watch that. It will change your mind because David Ayer has directed some bad movies, I will give you that, but he has also directed some good ones. He's kind of hit or miss, but like End of Watch is definitely one I recommend. Also, another one is Fury. I was hot and cold on the movie originally, but as time has gone on, I love the cast. I love World War II movies in general, so there was a lot going for it there. So that one was pretty good. Last one for me too. Packing up the family to go see Migration at our drive-in theater after the Bass Pro Shop, of course. Well, Aaron, you and your family enjoy Migration. But 1 to 5, Jacob, what would you give the Beekeeper?
Hmm, probably 2.5.
Oh, come on, that seems a little harsh.
2.5, maybe 3. We'll see.
I mean, honey's flammable, Jacob. Honey is flammable, you see. Come on, it's gonna be
Yeah,
fun.
I'll just go. I'll just go sit back. I'll just go sit back, steal honey from Winnie the Pooh, and just eat at the house.
Well, I'm going to go 4. Like the trailer, like I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take my dad to this. It's gonna be fun. Let's move on now from the theater world to the streaming world. This is Lyft. Follows a master thief and her ex-boyfriend who team up to steal $100 million in gold bullion being transported on a 777 passenger flight. So this stars Kevin Hart. It was directed by F. Gary Gray, so there are no real schlubs here as far as I'm aware. But Jacob, what did you think?
Yeah, this one doesn't look like a good movie. I'm a sucker for heist movies though, and that's a sad thing. Like Ocean's 11's a great film. I like that franchise. I liked some of the later Fast and the Furious movies when they like Fast Five technically is a heist film, and that's one of the better films of that
Yep,
franchise. I think F. Gary Gray directed one of the other Fast and Furious movies. He did.
he did.
He did Fate of the Furious, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he did.
Uh, that one, let's say, Fate of the Furious was all right. It was like when the franchise was starting to dip a little bit, but I'll take it over some of the last couple ones.
Well,
Uh,
the Paul Walker tribute at the end of that movie, I thought, or wait,
that the Paul Walker tribute was 7,
Furious 7. Yeah, I stopped myself.
directed by James Wan. But this one just it just looks like another stale by the numbers Netflix action movie. Just the way
Yeah.
it looks. I don't even buy Kevin Hart as a master thief. So when I saw a trailer, that kind of took me out of it. So, yeah, I don't have much hope for this movie.
And I enjoy Kevin Hart. I think he can be very funny, but usually he would be like the the best friend of the master thief rather than the actual like
Yeah,
thief is
he's
a
like the
weird
main
play.
master thief, and like maybe if he was like a comic relief, maybe he could have worked.
Yeah.
Ah, I'm not buying him as like the main master code breaker trying to steal money midair on an airplane. Like, nah, you need you can't stack up to George Clooney or Brad Pitt. I'm sorry.
No, no, you can't. Not many people can. But 1 to 5, Jacob, what do you have?
Two.
I will go 2.5, just for the Kevin Hart factor. I am a fan of his. But let's close things out tonight by taking a look at Sometimes I Think About Dying. What an optimistic title for a movie. Fran, who likes to think about dying, I wonder what gave that away, makes the new guy at work laugh, which leads to dating and more. Now the only thing standing in their way is Fran herself. So, artsy fartsy, that is seems to be the theme of this movie, but it's got Daisy Ridley in it, so happy that she seems to be getting more work. But Jacob, what did you think?
Yeah, I think if anything, I'm happy that Daisy Ridley's getting more work. I've actually defended Daisy Ridley since she played Ray. I know she got crapped on a lot for playing the character. Some people hated the writing of her character, but I always thought she was a good actress and she played her part very well, regardless of how you thought about the character. I thought she still did a great job, and she has such great potential as an actress. I mean, she was also good in Kenneth Branagh's Murder on the Orient Express. I thought she was really good
Yeah.
in that movie as well. So I'm just happy to see Daisy Ridley in more work. The movie itself, it doesn't look anything special. It does look, like you said, Ryan. It does look very artsy fartsy for my liking. I don't know if I'll truly get into the film or not. The melodrama surrounding the story sounds like, yeah, it sounds like it's going to dive into dark material, which is good and all if I'm latched on the characters. But this just sounds like melodrama that tends to get on the annoying side, uh, especially how it's so eerily similar to what people go through in real life. So I'm not sure if this is going to help Daisy Ridley's career continue to boost or not, but if she gets great recognition, hopefully she can continue to do more things. I know she's playing Rey again in a new Star Wars film. Looking forward to that. But I'm intrigued mainly on the prospect of seeing Daisy Ridley do other roles.
So, what would you give this 1 to 5?
Just for Daisy, I'm probably gonna go three.
I am a fan of this premise. I think, and I haven't seen it. I hope it comes close to my area so I can see it. I feel like, and I said it looks artsy fartsy, and it does, but hopefully I am proven wrong. I like this idea. I do like Daisy Ridley. I think a lot of like the Star Wars nonsense that followed in that regard was not her fault, and a lot of that material she could not say. So with that, I'm going to go 3.5. I think there is some gold to be mined here. It's like I like the Beekeeper for one reason, and I like this for another reason. Like, no, I don't want anyone to say that I'm like not nuanced or anything. But that is the end of the preview, and like I said, it's a pretty dry month. This death movie is the only movie so far to somewhat catch my attention from the description. If I had to see one of these, definitely this one. Oh, you should see The Beekeeper too. It's called Jason Statham. He kicked a shark in his last movie.
No, Ryan, it wasn't a shark. It was a megalodon.
But I pass it off to all of you watching. Was there any of these movies that caught your attention? Let us know in the comments afterwards or in the live chat. We'd love to know what you have to say. But Jacob, we are 10 episodes away from 100 episodes of this show. I feel like we should do something special for it, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I appreciate you being my co-host for this show, and I look forward to doing 100 more episodes with you. But tell the people where they can find you.
They can find me on Letterboxd, Twitter, Facebook, and you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm not doing near as well on. Wait a minute. I'm not doing near as much content this year. I've taken a little bit of a downgrade being at school, but I'm primarily doing different live streams this year. Some of which is movie related, others is music related. So doing some celebrating Disney videos. I just did a live stream on Garth Brooks last night. Actually, this Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, I got Adam from What the Gym and Jason the Old Millennial. We'll be doing another music undertaking where we'll be discussing the Lumineers. I'm excited about that project. To talk about that group, ranking their albums and top 5 songs. That's going to be a fun project. I'm looking forward to that. And got some other music projects coming out as far as reviews go. I got a Celebrating Disney video dropping later this week on my thoughts on Honey, I Blew Up the Kid, the sequel to Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Nowhere as good as that previous film, but it was still an odd movie, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, Jacob's channel, as always, is linked in the description of this video. Go give him a subscribe there. As for this channel, like I mentioned, the road to Godzilla X Kong continues on. Today, I dropped my review for King Kong versus Godzilla. Jacob Martin was in that video, so give that a look.
It was fun seeing King Kong shove a tree down Godzilla's throat. That was that's part of the movie. Godzilla just going.
that was a lot of fun. Yes, and this coming Saturday will be my review for Mothra versus Godzilla. So stay tuned for that. Small Talk every Tuesday, Life in the Movies every Wednesday. This coming Friday, so that will be Friday the 5th, I will be getting probably my most ambitious series to date on this channel. It's a year-long thing. It's my 1999 project where I'm going to be reviewing every movie that I can see that was released in 1999, because 1999 is seen as the best movie year ever. So I'm going to put that theory to the test.
Oh, nice.
I just I watched the other day the first movie in the series. Of the series is a TV movie from TNT called Purgatory. It's a Western starring Eric Roberts. It's actually pretty solid. So stay tuned for my thoughts on that. But I appreciate all of you for checking out the stream. If you're watching after the fact, drop a comment down below. Let us know what movies you're excited for. For Jacob Martin, my name is Ryan Cam. We will see you all in the next one. You all have a good night.
Hey, good night, y'all.